A girl wanted me to pee on her. I'm stoned all day every day at work. I feel sorta bad that I'm always stoned, but I don't think I could do my job without it. I work a very high-stakes job with big consequences, and I am absolutely not allowed to be high at work or in my free time. Also, it's not legal in my state. I like to think I hide it well. My eyes usually don't get very red, and besides that, I'm Asian and wear glasses. I don't smoke flower until after work and usually stick to dabs and edibles so I don't smell like weed. I use public transportation or Uber to get everywhere, so I am not driving. No one's life is in danger. The big confession is that I am literally stoned from the moment I walk in to the moment I leave. I have a cartridge that I smoke in the bathroom every couple hours. Sorry, boss. I'm 25 and I just learned how to masturbate. So all my life I've wondered how touching your penis can possibly be satisfying. I get erections when I look at porn, but the most I do is shuffle it in my pants a bit to give it more wiggle room. Never have I had the urge to choke my boy in a death grip and pump it like it owed me money. Then I got a girlfriend, and boy did she know what to do. By knowing what to do I mean choking my boy in a death grip and pumping it like it owed her money. And, surprise! It felt amazing. Her blur roga. So I tried to replicate her techniques. Took me a while to get the rhythm and force down, but when I did, it was like having an exclusive magical hand vagina. Now there's a tissue shortage in my house. My cat looks at me weird. I don't know where I'm going with this story. I guess I'm just happy to finally understand what this is about. However, I know what I'll be doing after I submit this. Someone cut my penis with their teeth. So I am 19, male, and I was on Grindr and I decided to meet up with this straight guy. He was inexperienced, but wanted to give me a BJ, so I didn't refuse. Big mistake. Teeth were used. Blood on my penis. I made him stop, and went home and realized my penis was still hard whilst flaccid, so I told my mom I need to go to the doctors. When she asked why, I said, I caught my penis in my zipper, because I wasn't out. I entered a stranger's house to avoid a DUI. I live in Australia. Not sure how it works in the rest of the world, but I was on my provisional driver's license as a teenager. We call them P plates, and when you are on that you cannot have any alcohol in your blood whatsoever. I stayed at my mate's place one night and he had some beers to drink. I had two, knowing I had to drive the next day and was gonna stop, but he convinced me to have another, so I did. The next day I got in my car to drive home, and as I was turning a corner there were a couple police doing an RBT, random breath test, and I panicked. I knew full well I'd have a little bit of alcohol in me, and that's enough to lose my license for a couple months. I had just left school and gotten a really good job, and if I got a drink driving charge I would have to rely on my parents to drive me there, which wouldn't work out as they both have jobs. I panicked and turned right onto another street. I drove halfway down the road thinking I had gotten away with it, but one of the cars suddenly turned round the corner and blasted the sirens. I pulled over and the cop came to my window. Cop, can you explain to me why you just avoided an RBT? Instead of explaining to the cop why and just taking my punishment, I decided to lie. I wasn't trying to avoid it, I live down here. Cop, whereabouts do you live? Just over there. Cop, well, you don't mind if I follow you and watch you enter your house for proof, do you? Kinda pooped myself but agreed. He got in his car and I drove into a driveway halfway down the street and walked up to the door. My current plan was to just explain to whoever is at the door what's going on and hope he lets me inside. I walked up and knocked but no one answered. Then I looked over my shoulder at the cop and turned to just open the door and it was unlocked. I walked inside and shut the door. I was really scared for if whoever lived there was gonna walk out and see me and scream, but no one did. I stayed at the door peeking out the window at the cop and he left after about 10 minutes. I waited another 10 minutes before walking down and driving off again with a big sigh of relief. Not here to condone drink driving or anything. I made a mistake and it was wrong. Just sharing this story. Infested a home with black widow spiders before moving out. So I've only told a handful of people this story. I lived in a suburban neighborhood as a kid when I was in elementary school. The back of our home had a nice wooded area with a trail. I often played and explored this area as a kid because I was very outdoorsy. One day my mom decided to buy me a plastic bug tank with the slitted holes on top. The first creature I added to my new vivarium happened to be a black widow spider. Now, I for some reason did not process how harmful and dangerous these creatures were, but was instead fascinated by the beautiful red markings that distinguished them. I took it upon myself to catch as many of these and add them to my collection until I had roughly 10 or so individual black widow spiders in there. As time went on, they had started spinning webs and breeding with each other by laying multiple egg sacs. During this time, my parents had been preparing our home to be sold and we frequently had home shoppers come by our house. I left my container in our garage and forgot about it for some time until about a week before it was time for us to move out. I then remembered about my collection and went to release the black widows back into the wild, but discovered the container had been knocked over and the top had been cracked open. All of the spiders were gone and the egg sacs were hollowed out. The last couple days before we officially moved out, I began finding multiple baby spiders in almost every corner of our house. I never told anyone this and just brushed it off, but I think back on it now and wonder if something ever happened because of my actions. I'm starting to hate my girlfriend's son. He's 4 and he is so misbehaved it's unbelievable. I got hit a lot as a kid. Sometimes too much, and so I understand not wanting to resort to fear and violence as a means of control. But holy hell, the number of butt-beatable offenses this kid gets away with is out of this world. I love his mother, every moment with her alone is wonderful, but he is the absolute worst kid I have ever dealt with for any prolonged period of time. Me and her both have to tell him to do things 3 and 4 times, he will pretend he doesn't hear you when you tell him no. When he doesn't get what he wants, he has these little temper tantrums where he will fake cry and shriek until he gets his way. He will cough in your face and then laugh about it. And he's such a crybaby drama queen. To add to this, his diet consists of nothing but junk, candy and ice cream. He's had 2 root canals in 9 months. Like I said, I love his mother, but her absolute lack of motivation in correcting his behavior is doing my head in. He legitimately makes me want to lay down and die, and I feel so bad because I love his mother and don't want to leave, but she plays a part in this also. I'm fearful that if I stay, the rest of my life is going to be devoted to the health and safety of this demonic, ungrateful, disobedient, little F my life. I told my mom that I had sex with a prostitute to lose my virginity. She took it surprisingly well and wasn't upset at all. She was actually smiling and happy for me and asked me questions about the experience because she knew I was a virgin. She knew I went to Vegas and she kept asking me what I did there, and she was like, "Why are you so quiet about the trip? Are you hiding a secret from me? Tell me the truth." So I just decided to tell her. She was making me blush sitting on the foot of my bed one night trying to pull answers out of me, so I just said, "F it," and told her the truth. I'm not a good liar. We are all adults here. Plus my parents are close to me and they've done some crazy stuff in their youth as well. I've lied to my blind best friend for a couple years. So my buddy from high school was in a bad car crash in 2014 and ended completely blind. He's had to adapt to his new life in many ways. It was obviously not easy for him and he was starting to go downhill. He would avoid getting out of his house at all cost and started to drink a bit too much. That's until he met, let's call her Clara. She's a really good girlfriend. She's smart, caring, funny, has a decent job, and most importantly, she makes him happy again. Now, my friend is a bit shallow and really cares about appearance. I do realize the irony. So the first time he introduced her to me, he asked me how she looked like and I convinced him that she was really attractive when in reality she's very not. She's not hideous but just really odd looking. I figured she makes him happy. Why not let him think he's dating a young Angelina Jolie? I lied about a vasectomy as a prank and it changed my life. I was in a very serious relationship with who I thought was the love of my life. One morning I'm in the bathroom and she asks me, "How would you feel if I was pregnant?" I jokingly said, with normal tone, that I would be pretty worried since I've been shooting blanks for a year. She turned around and went to the bedroom without saying a word. I started feeling really bad because I thought, damn, I guess kids matter more than I thought. I should go apologize for the joke. I walk into the bedroom and I sit to talk to her. Before I can say a word, she spat it all out. My revelation confirmed her doubts that the baby she was carrying was one of my friends. I think this fungus is my child. So a couple months ago I bought a pocket vagina for personal entertainment, and used it every 15 minutes for like a week. Eventually I got sick of it and now I only break it out every once in a while. Today was one of those once in a whiles, and when I took it out of the drawer I was hit with a crazy pungent aroma. I picked it up and there was like fuzzy mold inside it. I guess I didn't clean it really well, just held it under the sink and stuff, last time. So I was gonna just throw this thing away, then I hit a moral crossroads. If this mold is thriving on and was created by the presence my ejaculate, am I the father? Is it wrong to neglect and throw this thing away? Do I have to take care of it? Can someone help? I don't know what to do. As an uncircumcised male with a shorter than average penis, this is my deepest, darkest secret, the man-pawn. A portmanteau of man and tampon. The man-pawn is a tool of my own invention. It was thought up in response to the small amount of liquid that remains behind under the foreskin after I go to the bathroom that inevitably leaks out and slightly dampens an area of my boxers, which ends up feeling weirdly annoying and wet on my penis over the course of the day. I'm pretty sure there's a more technical slang term for what I just described, but I don't know what it is. Anyways, the man-pawn is simple enough and requires nothing other than half a square of single-ply toilet paper. Just roll it up between your thumb and forefinger until it is a softly compacted ball, then use one hand to open the foreskin and the other to insert the man-pawn gently. Squeeze any excess air out, seal it up by pressing the end together, and you're all set until the next trip to the bathroom, where it will be easily expelled by the pressure of the exiting urine. No mess, no slightly damp in one small area underwear, and no worries. I think I've been doing this for about 7 years now, and couldn't be happier with the results. Yes, I do make sure to thoroughly wash that area in the shower to prevent infection and get rid of potential odors, because I know that's probably the first thing on everyone's mind. Well, I know this isn't as long of a confession as some of the others on here, but it's one nonetheless, and I'm kinda glad that I decided to share it anonymously so that it's not such a huge secret anymore. I jerked off at school. So, this girl in my class was looking good that day as her dress showed off ample cleavage. She just happens to be at the study area as well. My primal urges kicked in. My boner was not giving up. I did the one thing I thought I would never do. I went to the bathroom. Occupied a stall, waited until the coast was clear and blew my load into a wad of toilet paper. I was disgusted and a little turned on as well. Jerking off in that bathroom was kinda hot. Don't judge me. I cleaned up and went straight to studying again. I love attention. I am in a relationship but I still try to get attention from other guys. I love talking to guys that I know will text me back and call me pretty. I keep a couple of them around just for a confidence boost and attention. I love it when people compliment me. My boyfriend has no idea that I beg for attention from other men. My boyfriend also gives me so much attention, and he gives me plenty of love and affection. I just need more. My girlfriend has gained weight and I freaking love it. When we first started dating she was already a bit on the thick side but she exercised and ate very well. Now, 2 years in, we've both become busy and put on some weight. Her boobs are huge and her butt is round and awesome. She hates it, she's unhappy with herself and I'm unhappy with my current weight, but I think hers is perfect. I have once again found the drive to start exercising and diet, but I really would not mind if she did not. I'm ashamed because I know we should lose weight, eat healthier, live longer, feel better, etc. But damn, she's soft and curvy and fantastic. I've decided to encourage her to eat better and exercise with me, but I really hope she doesn't turn into a gym rat and get skinny. I told my girlfriend I don't have any fetishes because I'm only into a few things and they will change how she sees me. When we started dating 2 years ago she asked me what I liked sexually, what my fetishes were. I'm pretty vanilla when it comes to sex and she doesn't mind, but she also knows I masturbate all the time. We're talking 2 to 3 times a day on average. She thinks it's normal stuff I'm wanking too. It's not. At least not all the time. I browse all sorts of weird stuff. Mind control, demonic possession, monster girls, sometimes she-males. The biggest thing that gets me off is sex change pornographic stories or anything with a transgender twist to it. Sometimes when I'm watching porn, I imagine I'm the woman. I can't tell her, she has an image of me being a super masculine, burly, old-school hairy-bearded man with no feelings and a tight butthole. Well, that's true, I am, but if she ever found out she wouldn't look at me the same way anymore. I don't have any plans on telling her, and if she ever found out I don't think she'd leave me, but she'd treat me differently. She's not judgmental, wouldn't hate me for it, and she loves me and I know she'd love me just the same. I just never want to have that conversation. A girl wanted me to pee on her. When I was 21 and in college, I started hooking up with a 23-year-old girl who later revealed herself to be an urophiliac. Basically, she was aroused by urine. It was pretty weird at first, but all things aside I started to fall for her pretty hard. Unfortunately, I grew suspicious that she was sleeping around because it started to burn when I peed on her face.